What's going on, guys? Christian here from CK Wraps. Don't forget to check out my website, ckwrapstoronto.com. Sign up to our mailing list for exclusive offers and discounts on new and upcoming products. Now, I'll post a link up in the top corner there for you. Today, I'm going to wrap the front bumper on this Mazda MX-5. I haven't done bumper videos in a while, so I figured, hey, why not? This is a bit of a fun one. Nothing too crazy. It's not like a BMW M series or anything like that. But it does require an inlay, similar to the bumper video. I'll post a link to that as well, that I've done, so the rear bumper video. And this one mainly requires one right here, but potentially you could use one where the fog light area is. Because that is a recessed area, there's a potential for the film to fail right over there. Now I'm gonna show you how to do this, or how I'm gonna do this, in one piece for that area there, but this one cannot be done in the middle here in one piece. Simply because this bend up here is not gonna allow us to actually stretch the vinyl into it. It's gonna lift right about there, 100%. I already know it will. You can slap a whole bunch of primer in there, go for it. It's not my style. I'd rather do the inlay and make it look pretty. So there is already an inlay here. You can barely tell because it's gray over gray. So the film that we're using is a little bit more pliable, and you're gonna be able to see me actually feed the vinyl into this area right here, and then I'm gonna stretch out. I'll do a relief cut, and that's sort of the plan along the way. Now, if you're doing this front bumper and you want to get the emblem off, you have to remove the front bumper to get the emblem off. A bit of a pain. They put little metal clips behind the actual emblem prongs, which make it really hard to remove. You're just going to end up breaking them if you don't take the front bumper off and pull those clips off from the back. You'll end up breaking the little prongs. But just so you know, you do have to remove the front bumper to get the emblem off on this vehicle. Not that complicated. It's Mazda. It's nothing too crazy. Japanese, right? Otherwise here we're fine as far as the inlays go. We don't need any in here. We don't really need any either because I can feed in from the top. Should be totally fine. And yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward. It's got the side markers already taken out. That's about it. So we're going to get to it. It did have a front lip on it. I did remove it just to make life a little bit simpler. Since I had the front bumper off, hey, why not? I'll get the front lip off. It's an extra couple of screws. No big deal. They didn't even use any two-sided tape or anything like that. So the front fenders on this particular car are not magnetic, so we will not be using magnets. You'll notice that I did mask off the fender, and when I finish this, I will be removing the front bumper so that I can finish it off really nicely around all the corners and stuff like that, because I've got to take it off anyways to put the fog lights back in and whatever else, the emblem back on. So I'm going to take my film and I'm going to unravel it. I've got it rolled up for, portability. Does help when you're doing this alone. I don't have anyone to help me with this one today, so just figured I'd show you how to do it solo. So all I'm going to do is peel off a corner, and this piece is going to be extremely long because it was cut from the rear bumper piece. So I'm going to peel off a corner, and I'm going to stick it to the actual front fender. What I can do here is fold my hand over, pull it back. We're cutting all this off anyways, no big deal. And then I'll stick it right up here. I know this is going to be a big enough piece as far as length goes. Yeah, we're going to make sure that I'm sort of positioned where I need to be. Okay, we're looking good. We can always reposition again afterwards. Not a big deal. I've prepped this surface with isopropyl alcohol, 70%, and I've taken a compressor to blow away all of the dirt and contaminants that might be kicking around. Another important thing to keep in mind, because we don't want to drag in anything from the engine bay since we do have the hood up. Okay, so now, I don't think I really need to reposition this film. I'm going to start peeling off the backing paper, or the release liner, and then I'm going to tack that down right to the fender, get it nice and secure, because we don't have magnets. Having the extra bit of film on the ends is going to allow me to make sure that vinyl is stuck right on that fender, and it's not going to pull off. So I'm going to unravel this side, unstick this side, and then unravel this film from here. Don't want that to fold over itself. And then we're gonna keep the film tight. This is gonna require a fair bit of stretching to get the film to hug the top section right here. As you notice, we've got a ton of slack. We want it to be a bit tighter than that. Bottom isn't that big of a deal, but I'm just gonna balance it out somewhere in the middle, like right about there. if you can see, my knee was probably in the way. Somewhere right here. And we could anchor it right here if we want to. And we could potentially anchor it right here. I'm gonna lift the film off from one side, bring it across, pull it, stretch it across. Again, trying to get a lot of this slack out right here. The way we do that is we pull the film across. If you're new at this, it's always easier having an extra set of hands. But if you're a seasoned veteran, you won't need them. All right. So I'm just gonna give this a pull, and you can see that the film is tightening across the top. So I'm gonna stop right about there. I could do this all in one step, but I wanna do this in stages to show you. So you can see we've got a lot less slack right up in this area. So all I'm doing is pulling these wrinkles that run across out the top, because it means we have to pull them this way. When we have them running directly to the edge, it means we have to pull them the other way, and then we kind of get trapped because we don't have a way out around here. So we want to make sure we don't have too much slack in this area. Very important. All right, so that's all looking good. I do want to take care of this area right here. I don't want these wrinkles right here, especially sitting on the body line. That's a big pain. We don't want that to happen. And I should be okay, because right around here I can take some of this and feed it into this recess, which I want to do over here. So I'm just going to lift these guys out. Again, putting your hand behind the film, we run the risk of getting hair or dirt or anything like that. So make sure you didn't just touch the floor or anything like that. These ones I could probably try and pull from the bottom, since I don't have the vinyl that tight in this area. Again, I want to situate this back to the way I had it. There we go. So we can lock all that in right at the edge. Beautiful. Cool. So I can do the other side first. I'm just going to finish working my way around, and then we can do the other side next. I'm going to finish working my way around this way. Now you can see why I didn't tack the top yet, right? And I'm expanding the film. We want to make sure that we're hitting this body line really nicely, so that way we get even pull around the top and the bottom. But most of the stretch is coming right across this area where I'm squeegeeing, right through here. This is where the bumper is, this is where the film is making contact. So now I can actually take this, just grab my squeegee, and I'm going to find that nice recess right here and just lay the vinyl in. Look, no tension. It's amazing. So now I didn't stretch into there, which is way better. I'm going to finish up the top because we always want to seal up the top area, just in case something might fall in from the top. Things do not usually fall in from the bottom, they usually fall in from the top if they're going to fall in. Cool, I'm just going to bring it to about there. We should be good. And then if we want to kind of focus a little bit around this area, I'm going to show you how I'm going to feed the film into the recess. So because I have the film tight, I'll actually zoom in for you, it'll be easier. Okay, so because I have the film tight across here, that's a good thing, I want that. Let's see how this gap is right here. Okay, nothing too crazy, I'm not that concerned about bridging this too much right now. But what I need to do is feed this film up from the bottom. See all that slack I have on the bottom? I'm going to cut out a whole bunch of this because I don't need it anymore. So all that slack I have on the bottom, I'm going to use it. Right about now. So we lift from here, right? Perfect. And then I lift it a little higher. I want to make sure I'm above this body line right here. There we go. So now we can actually lay in to this recess a lot better. yes, the vinyl, this is where the vinyl is going to get really funny, okay? It's going to get wrinkly, it's going to do all kinds of really fun stuff. But that means we just have to work it out afterwards. But you can see how far in I can actually get the film to go into this area just by laying into it. So I'm going to try and do this nice and evenly. This way I have less problems to actually deal with when it comes to stretching back out afterwards. So I'm going to even that out again here. Perfect. Give myself a nice line to work with. Again, where I'm handling the film, it's all going to get cut off. So the bottom of the bumper. Stretch that back out. So this is a technique that I use on my car to do the fog light area in one piece. A lot of people have failure right down here, or sorry, right here on my car, simply because they're stretching in all the time. Okay, so we're gonna get this. We gotta get all the wrinkles off the body line. That's important. And to do that, we can feed the vinyl in and sort of stretch out at the same time. So I'm actually like in there already. It's pretty cool. Okay, and then there should be no tension really right around this edge. We're gonna fix up these couple of wrinkles right here, right there, and right there. Not exerting a lot of energy doing this. It's just a little bit different handling of the film. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of heat right here. And I'm going to try to expand that film and bring it across. I want to keep it wrinkle free. Amazing. So we've laid quite a bit into this area right here. The option to do an inlay in this area would have been the upper area right here. I would not have gone with the lower. Okay, so the wheel is in my way, it means I got a little too much vinyl, but I think it's pretty close to the edge of the actual bumper, so we got to be careful that we're not cutting off too much. There we go. So I'm going to add a touch of heat. And expand down towards the corner. Corners are like our ways out, okay? They are the best way to get the vinyl out. So I know that this area, pretty much all down here, there's a hole there, gets covered by the front lip that goes back on. So I'm not too concerned about it. Oh, got a wrinkle there, so let's just heat that one out. Maybe I don't have to. Let's do it. Let's shrink this down. See, with the wheel getting in the way, it makes it a little bit more challenging. But it's not the end of the world. All right. So now I'm going to pull up and get the film stretched across the wheel well area. Where am I pulling up to? I'm pulling up and I'm expanding towards the top corner. So we're going to create some triangles here. It should shrink down a little bit. See, one of those things I didn't notice was actually how close the wheel is to the bumper until I got here right now. Perfect. So again, I got a little bit more down there. Let's finish that off. Amazing. So this side of the bumper is basically wrapped, but I'm going to show you this part right now. So I need to find where I think I have to cut. This is the critical point. If I mess this up, oh, we're back to square one. That means we start over. So what I can do is I can heat, come over there, I can heat and then stretch in right over here just to find where I've got to go. I'm just pushing in a little bit just to figure out where it is. You could do the trimming off the car actually, but we'll do it on the car. I like to live a little bit dangerously here. I cut my hole a little bit smaller always than I think. So we can push through and bring the film across. This way we're not so much stretching in as opposed to me just kind of pulling the vinyl through this area. It's all flat right here. Awesome. This is time for the glove. We'll get that top section done. If you don't lay in enough from the bottom, you're going to run into a problem, right? So we have to make sure that we've got good coverage, and double checking that is very important. I just figured this spot would look really ugly with an inlay, and I know that I didn't really need one. So again, I'm finding that inner edge. Let's have a peek. The relief cut. And we made it. All is well. So clearly we want to give that a bit of a post heat in there, but it looks so much cleaner, guys. And again, with the right technique of laying in, you can do this in one shot without an inlay. So let's just finish up the bottom here, and then I'll move the camera back around to the other side. This film will pretty much get cut off nearly right at the bottom, actually, because there's a black plastic trim and then the front lip goes off, goes over top of everything. There's that black plastic trim right there. Could have taken it off, but it wasn't a big deal. Didn't need to. Cool, so I'm gonna move the camera over. All right, and so what I have to do on this side, exactly the same as what I did on the other side. So, take our vinyl, I'm gonna bring it back, I'm gonna pull it tight. You're gonna see how it crosses over the stretch, right? It crosses over from one side to the other, that middle section. I lifted the film far enough back to cause a lot of wrinkles running across. It's more or less what you want. And we don't want to have too much slack in this area. We'll run into a big problem. I'm just going to pull up a bit, get that guy out. I see that wrinkle, don't worry. And then over here, cut out a bunch of that. And just kind of expanding as we come up to the top. I'm more or less always expanding the film when I pull on it. You can see me expand it there, see? Here. There we go. Amazing. Cool. Continue working across. I do have to get this one out. That one's a bit of a pain in the butt. He's a little bit low. before we lock it all in. Cool, so what I'm gonna see, what might happen here is it might shrink a little bit since I did stretch it. Not enough, too much slack. Just means I'm gonna bring it back again a little bit more and pull a little bit more aggressively with my right hand. Somewhere like this. I'm always locking it in to the panel on the opposite side. We're looking much better here right now. Push down on those. Perfect. All right, so what did I say about laying into this little recess area by the headlight? Is we take it, kind of scoop it around. Oh, don't want to do that. Blocked it off. There we go. We start feeding it in from the opposite side. Just like that. Done. I'll wait to finish this up. We'll get up the rest of this tight across and then we'll be good to finish that up afterwards. So let's check out what's going on down here. Cool, let's balance it all out. No wrinkles on the body lines where it's making contact. Those will be your nemesis. So getting them out is important. Again, same thing down here. Let's get those guys out. I'm pretty sure my film's as tight as it needs to be. If you have someone to help you, you'll be able to avoid dealing with this kind of stuff a little bit more easily. There we go. So because I kind of stretched that a bit with my hands, I'll have to heat it and shrink it back down. But I'll pull out the rest before I do that. You can see it all glass out. Perfect, exactly what you want. We're going to fix up the bottom. Might as well do the top right now and get this bit locked in. I was just seeing if it would shrink a little bit. Didn't really want to, but we're pretty flat and we're pretty close to the top, so this is not requiring much stretch at all. Again, just expanding the film. Now, of course, I'm not going to cut it off the edge. I'm going to go down and wrap it all in and do all that fun stuff. Just because I like doing that kind of stuff. And then might as well just do the emblem area while I have you here, right in front of it. So there's holes there. We know that because there was little prongs. So the air will escape from somewhere like around here and around here. So you want to work the deepest part of the area first. And you see that I'm not that close with the heat gun, right? You don't want to be that close with the heat gun. It's going to make the film too soft. You see where I can see where my holes are? They're right there. So I'm going to try and feed the air out to that area because it will get locked in it will get locked into the top edge here because it's sealed tight, right? The film's tight across this top edge. Let's make sure I don't see any air. Nope, okay, we're good. So let's do fog light area on this side. So this side ended up being a little bit better for me. Looks like it's in a better spot already. And we're just laying in. And I'll bring my camera over again so we can see what's happening here. Again, I'm going to cut off a whole bunch of this. We got way too much. It just drives me nuts when I have so much vinyl. It's like a garbage bag hanging off the car. It's really going to get in your way, trust me. So cut it out, you don't need it. Cool. So maybe you can see a little bit better on this side, just in case you couldn't see it as well from the other side. I think the lighting's a bit better over here. So again, I'm feeding in as much as I can into that area. That's the critical point right in here. So I'm taking all this vinyl and I'm feeding it in. Yes, you can see it makes a mess, right? But this is what I like to do. It just means we have to problem solve afterwards or troubleshoot. So I can feel that inner edge there. Basically we're at the critical point and I can gently massage some of these wrinkles out. I don't want to pull too hard, obviously. I don't want to lift it off. Perfect. My wrinkles run across, right? So we're good in the wrinkle department. That's what we want. These ones run straight out, but that's fine because we're stretching across the panel. We're not stretching to the edge. Nope, not magnetic. So from here, I maybe don't need too much heat. Like I said, I think it ended up a little bit better on this side than the other side. Just sometimes how it happens to go. We can work from one side to the other, you learn something, and then it ends up being a little bit easier. But look at that, that's beautiful. It's all laid in there. Pretty much most of the way. I have like a millimeter or two to go in still. It's nothing. It's like no stretch. Again, we'll just add a little heat to glass all that out. Add some pliability so that we can glass all that out, sorry. There we go. And to be making contact with the bumper, it's a bit difficult, like I said, with the wheel kind of right there. It's fine, I'll get it. Always get it. So I don't know if anyone noticed, but got a new super glove and I got a new pouch. Honestly can't live without these things. I had that pouch for like over a year. I've had the super glove for over a year. Like they've both been incredible. So I can't even like live without a pouch now. I never used to use one. But you know, if you're looking to make your life a little bit simpler and pack all your tools on you, just, you know, I keep the necessities. Nothing too fancy in there. Just knife, glove, squeegees, and a handy wrap stick flex, of course. Alright, so that tightens up a little bit. We're just going to keep it flat. Perfect. There's that bottom edge where that plastic trim is, right there. And again, the front lip kind of covers this whole section since there's that hole right there. And then we'll fix up that front bit right there. And we'll move on to the headlight area and then trimming. The trimming, I'm going to take it off the car and I'm going to show you how I trim it. Because it's just going to be a little bit nicer. And I can wrap around the bottom probably a little bit better. Not that I really need to go that far because there's not much to go. As far as trimming, I'll do this area for you guys right here before I take it off because this is super basic. So I can see my inlay line right there. If we're unsure, we can do a massive relief cut. No big deal. We got so much space in there. Just keep in mind there's black plastic here, so I don't want to scratch that. But I know my inlay comes right to that edge there. I can see it. Can you knifeless this? Sure. You don't really need to at this point because we're not really going to be. We don't really need to cut on the panel at all. Again, we're going to give ourselves a little bit more always. Yeah, also getting the knifeless tape is a bit tricky when you're trying to get it out of this area afterwards. So if you set it up with knifeless, again, it's a little bit tricky. It's not terrible, but I can just cut very straight and steady, so I don't really need to. And I like cutting like this. It's fun for me. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's how you get good at knife work. It just disappears. Again, I'm just defining my line, making sure that we're on it. I check so many times before I cut, guys, it's not even funny. And usually when I don't double check is the time when I make a mistake, or triple or quadruple check. So check before you cut, check many times before you cut. I'm sure some of you have learned the hard way. All right, so we're getting up near the top here. Again, I'm going to find it. I came in with my inlay slightly around the curve. That will help create the top section as a tab. And then I can actually just wrap the underside with this piece here. Obviously, I'll trim it down a bit, but that's the idea. Cool, so I can actually cut a bunch of this off because I have way too much. We can drag the film, we can drag our blade along the film and just kind of pull the film along the blade, and it'll cut it very nicely like that. And then let's finish up this top section here. So I've got one wrinkle right here on the edge. Let's pull that out. Good. So I'll use my squeegee to tuck the film in. There's a massive space there actually on this grill, or this top section. So this will allow me to get the film tucked in slightly before I cut. Not that it's the end of the world if I miss a tiny bit, but again, we're just always doing our best to have complete and full coverage. I mean, it's gray over gray, it's not the end of the world. Always make sure you can see where you cut. Let's just finish that up right there. Cool. Tuck that in, or just make sure there's nothing kicking around. Cool. That bit's done. I'm going to pull the film up slightly across this way. I'm just going to add a bit of heat. Finish up the headlight area. I could, at this point, probably take the bumper off. I still have the fog light area to do too. So, by doing that cut at the top there that I did, it allows the vinyl to come in and under, so we're not stretching so much, right? And then for here, I mean, that's the edge right there. So we can just kind of pull through. Pretty straightforward stuff. There isn't a lot to wrap in here. There's not like, there's just a pure edge for the most part. There are some clips and stuff, but otherwise that's about it. Again, so I'll separate the areas. And then kind of come around here. Push in so I know where to do a relief cut. This top edge, I don't even have to actually take the bumper off to do it. It'll unclip. It's just kind of sitting there. So if I just pop this out like that, there we go, we've got play. Amazing, clean. The corners are super thin on the bumper, so they're really easy to do. And again, we don't have to wrap in like 10 inches, guys. We're just gonna go in about a 1/4 inch, and we're good. Okay, so again, show you this area, and then I'll take this thing off. And so since we have one side done, it makes it a little bit easier to see the other side if we ever had to go look. Just a piece of advice. find that spot, do my relief cut. Perfect. Pull the vinyl through. Cool, let's do the top section. It's already right there, easy peasy. It's all about those relief cuts. Cool. So I know that we're good because we have no pullback or tension when we heat. It's usually how you check. If you have a concern about it, you can always wrap a little behind. Don't even worry about it. Cool. Okay, so the bumper is off right now, and I'm going to just finish up the edges. As you can see, we didn't get all that yet. No big deal. Again, our wrinkles are running across. We just got to pull them down. They don't really need any heat at this point. Again, front lip coverage comes right up to that edge. Same thing with down here, the front lip comes right up to that edge. So that front lip is obviously drilled on. It's not meant to ever come off. Otherwise, we're going to be leaving holes in the bumper. So again, as far as coverage goes, we don't have to go berserk with wrapping so far underneath. With this one in particular, with other ones that don't have front lips and stuff like that, you may want to. I'm going to go a little bit under right there. I think there might be a space where the front lip is. So, but we don't have to go too crazy here. There's an edge inside here. We're going to hit it eventually. It's right there. So I still got some air kicking around in there. No big deal. It's easy to push out. Feed that vinyl in this little plastic trim piece here. Kind of cut it out. That would be my phone that you hear in the background. It's gonna have to wait. We've got an important bumper wrap video going on right now. So again, I can pull that through and around. And I might as well wrap it up to that edge because I didn't know it was so close. Give me a nice line to cut on at least. Perfect. So we'll do up this bit right here. This is like a part of the bumper, or it's like a rubber trim that I'm hitting right now that I'm kind of cutting on. It's like a wind guard, I guess, or something like that. You can see it. It's not even painted, it's just black plastic. So I'll show you the edge on the other side here. I'm just using a chair, as you can see. Nice soft one. Don't need anything too fancy for this. You just want to make sure our bumper's not going to fall off. So I'll show you what's going on with this inner edge here. I'll trim out the reflector area. Then we can kind of have a look at what the fog light area looks like and all that stuff, just so you can see. And yeah, we're done. I'll slap the bumper back on. So I'm already around. I'm around as far as I need to be. It's nothing crazy. It's not like a super wide area on the back side here. Sometimes they are. But I know there's like a guard that goes over it to the edge. I'm pretty much right to the edge. Just trim this baby off. Corner is going to be very easy. It's very thin plastic. The vinyl folded over itself. Love when that happens. There we go. So because the corner is so skinny, I don't really need to do a whole lot. It's very easy to do. Hopefully you can see that. And we'll just go over the inner edge, seal it up. Again, there's no real tension here. I'm not really worried about it. But we can always go over it afterwards with a bit of heat. So I'm going to show you what that looks like so we can see. Okay. Let's check out the fog. You can see all the cut across the top there and everything. Let's check out the fog light area. There's a little bit of vinyl up in there. You see that? There you go. I'll trim that out. Otherwise, that's all good. Again, we can see along the bottom here, I had this black plastic trim. So I've tucked it in slightly, trimmed across, and I've pushed the film up to this inner edge right here and cut it all the way across. Now we can see my inlay down here. If you want to have a look at it while we're here. You can barely see it at all. I mean, you can't even see the line. It's really invisible, right? Again, that's a tow hook cover. I'll cut that out afterwards. No big deal. I'm going to trim up the rest, and then I'm going to slap this bad boy back on the car. Okay, and that's it for the front bumper. I've got the entire front bumper reassembled, headlights back in, grille, fog lights, all that fun stuff back on. I do hope the video was informative in helping you figure out, kind of how to go about doing a front bumper like this. Again, really sort of varies on the taper in the front here and how much that is. Also, if there happens to be taper on the bottom, that's going to inhibit you when it comes to stretching the film around, so you'll have to stretch more aggressively across the panel as you bring the film around, because we don't want to get bunched up material in the middle or around the sides or around the bottom, so we have to actually pull it tight. Guys, if you thought the video was informative and helpful, don't forget to give it a like, and if you guys want to see some more videos, don't forget the subscribe button. Again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Take care.